Hi everyone, Josh here from Attitudes Entertainment Company, Team Kaizen and Ingenium with another Little Big Planet Club tutorial. Since the last tutorial with the basketball hoop went a little heavy with the programming side, today I wanted to do something that's a little bit lighter fare. We're still going to have some programming today, but not quite as much. Today we're going to make a multiplayer battle arena, and it's going to look a little weird since I'm here playing by myself. But when you have 2 to 4 people playing in an arena, this can get really hectic and fun. So it's a good thing to know how to make when you want to make a quick level to impress your friends. So the first thing we need to worry about is making our projectile that we're going to shoot at people. So go to your materials under your goodies bag and pick this material called sticker panel and make a square out of it and stretch it out a little bit. Make sure it's one thick layer. Now you notice that when I'm near it, I can jump through it. It doesn't like stop Sackboy. So it can go through solid walls too. So we're going to shrink it down a little bit. Now we're going to tweak it and make it any color you want. I'm going to do green because green's a fun color for blasters. And still, like I said, jump through it, no effect on Sackboy, so we need to make this thing dangerous. How you do that is you go to your tools bag and go to the first page. There's this section called hazards, and you can use all these different tools to make different things dangerous in different ways. You could set them on fire, turn them to plasma, turn them to a dangerous gas, or electrify them. So we're going to electrify this and turn it to lightning. So you can see that there's those little lightning bolts, and now when Sackboy touches it, so now we know that we can blast people with it. So the next thing we're going to do is go to our tools page, go to the second page, and go grab a microchip. We're going to put the microchip right on this little blaster laser beam and hit X on it to pop the microchip there. And as a quick note, when you're playing with microchips, if you want this big green part of it to go away, just hover over it and hit R1 and it will collapse down into the chip. If you want it to come back, put your cursor back over the chip and hit R1 again and it will come back out. So the first thing we need is a sound. So go back to your tools bag and go to the second to last page. Grab a sound, put it there, we'll tweak it. And here on trigger mode, we want to set trigger mode to creation. And that means that anytime one of these blaster laser beams is popped into existence, the sound will play. And so for our sound, I like to go to retro and pick blaster for my blaster lasers. So the next thing we need to do is make it so that this laser beam can move. So go to Gadgets, which is the second page under your tools bag, and go to the mover section and pop a mover on it. As you can see, it already started wanting to get away, so I'm going to drag it back here really quick. It was going kind of slow. It was already going in the right direction because we wanted it to go right, but it was going slow. So let's tweak it and see what the deal is. So the left-right speed is at +4, which, by the way, you can take it to negative. If you go negative, it would go left instead of right, but we want it positive, so let's keep it positive and put it at about 15 for speed. Yep, that's a pretty good speed. So we're going to drag it back to the start space. And we're going to tweak a few more settings of this. We don't need to set up and down speed because we just wanted it to go right. And we're going to look at this thing here too. So local space. This is an important setting, and I'll turn it to yes in a second. But the reason I want to cover it is right now we have it saying we want it to go right. So that is true whether it's like this. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this to 90 degrees so I don't accidentally mess this up. But let's say I turn this 90 degrees like that. It's still going to go right. However, if we go and tweak local space, that means that if I take it so that that side that was originally the right side and now point it towards the sky, it'll move towards the sky. So you need to make sure that local space is turned on, because that basically means that instead of moving right in relation to the entire level and the entire world, it's moving towards the right side of the object regardless of how that object is aimed inside the game world. And the reason this is important is it will allow us to shoot in any direction we want to once we get the shooter part ready. So now we need to do acceleration. Right now it's at 50%, which means that it starts off kind of slow and builds up. We want that all the way to 100. Deacceleration doesn't really matter. We can turn that to 0. For some other objects, you may want to have some amount of deacceleration, but generally speaking, for especially building a blaster, it's not that big of a deal. So now we're going to collapse the scoreboard, and we're going to go to our goodies bag, and there's a tool at the top of the goodies bag called your capture. Make sure that the box of the capture is only around the object you want to capture and hit X. And we now have a copy of it saved in the My Objects section of our goodies bag. So we can go ahead and delete the one that's there because we now have it saved in our goodies bag. So what we're going to do now is go to our tools bag and go to the power-ups like I mentioned in the other video, but instead of using the Grabinator this time, we are going to use the Creatinator. The Creatinator is a helmet that Sackboy wears that can spawn stuff into existence and launch them at his opponents or launch them at obstacles. So what we do to tweak it is, first of all, we hit square on it. Then actually first I'll show you what it's standard load is to be loaded with water, so you hold R1 and you can squirt water everywhere. And so you can make levels if you want that can work around that mechanic and respond to the water. But that's not what we want to do. We want to go a little crazy with our blaster. So first let's go all the way down here. Visual Style Creatinator. Let's go with a headband because you can make it so that they're goggles too. And functionally it's the same thing, but it just looks cooler on Sackboy if it's a pair of goggles instead of a full helmet. And if you like the full helmet, by all means go with that. Lifetime, this is how long your emitted object lasts. Let's carve that down to like 4 seconds. That way, if it goes way off to the distance, it doesn't really matter because our battle arena is going to be kind of small anyways. And timing, rate of fire, if you have it on 0.0, you can fire as fast as you can hit the trigger. So we actually want to leave it on that. Accuracy about 100%. If you decrease the accuracy, there'll be kind of wobbles to the shot and it can add some variance to the play experience. Although with this kind of setup, it's already kind of hard to hit your opponent. So I'd say leave it at that. Linear velocity, don't really need to worry about that. Just turn it to 0 because we already handled the linear velocity by putting that mover on the blaster, like laser piece. Recycle old objects, you would say no. And that's just that if you reach your limit of how many you could shoot at a time, that it would start deleting ones that you've already shot. Max emitted at once, go ahead and put that like at maybe 20, or I'd say even 30, because that's how many you could shoot at once before some have to disappear before you're allowed to shoot again. But it's going to be really hard for people to shoot that many in shoot that many in 4 seconds, so they should never actually hit that limit. So now we're on the object to emit. We click on that, then use the R1 trigger to cycle over to the My Objects page, go down and select our blaster and place it right in front of the headpiece. Now if I did it all right, we should be able to fire. So the rate of fire is a little high on that. Let's go ahead and tweak that. I was wrong about that, but so let's put it up to 1 second. Let's put it down to half a second. And that's part of this whole process. You're never going to do everything right on the first try. It's all about tweaking and learning how to do it a little bit better. And since it's going so fast, I'm going to go ahead and change this down to 2 seconds. Because by 2 seconds, they'll be way out of the arena. There. So if there was another player here, I could damage them with that. So the next piece of our battle arena is going to be just a small platform. And then we're going to tweak it and set it to mountain. And then we're going to go to our tools bag and go to the gameplay page, which is the 3rd page. And on the gameplay page, under the getting around, there is bounce pads. We're going to grab one, pop it into existence, and put it on the edge here. And then we're going to tweak it, and it looks like it's already at a pretty good distance because it's letting me bounce up to there. Yeah, that's pretty good. When you tweak a bounce pad, you could see like that green box, that's how high it bounces people. And that's actually already a good distance. So we're going to copy the bounce pad and put it on the other side. And these are the platforms that people will use to get around. And then in the middle of that platform, we will put our Creatinator with a weapon. Now, we will take our cardboard square, in the furthest forward layer, we will do a thick layer and kind of put it into the ground. Go up, go over, go down like that. And then move that. We will put this here. And then we will copy this whole platform and put it in a couple different places that is convenient for the player to get around. And then we are going to do one more block. So we're going to do another square, but we're going to move it back a layer. Grab it and expand it so that, and actually you can get it so that it just feels like an area like this where it goes up to the ceiling. Copy it by pushing in the left stick, hold down X, and smear it until it fills the whole back. So that way the players can't go through the back. They're trapped in this one forward layer. And now the last step is to go back to the first page of your tools bag, go down to gameplay cameras, and just like we talked about last time with the basketball hoop, we need to tweak the gameplay camera. So we're going to do first of all the shot of it. The shot of it will cover this entire area. The zone will be the entire battle area that the players are in. And then let's put player tracking to 0. So this is what it looks like in play mode. So now you can have players bouncing all around, shooting each other, and you can even put in additional logic and make it even more complex to set up time limits or how many points people get per kill, and you can make it so that you can create a very hectic and fun multiplayer battle arena. And this is a really easy template to tweak and remix and do whatever you want with. So I hope you have fun with it, and let me know if you have any questions, and thank you for watching.